officially winter, Christmas time. We're excited.
Yes.
So I'm not a rain lover, but I like snow.
No, I hate snow.
I like snow. So I'm excited. I'm like, let's do this. So that was something nice to wake up to. I also woke up in the middle of the night and I saw it falling. So that was beautiful. Yes, yes. But we're excited. We're excited. We're out in the cold weather. We out in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Shout out to DWI. We are back in our home studio. And, we wanted to sit down and hold this super important conversation with us today with our special guest. So we're very excited to be here. So without further ado, we're just going to dive right into it. We have Mr. Michael J. McDonald in the building. Ow. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good, good. And thank you so much, for coming on, for sitting with us. We really appreciate it. You're definitely somebody that we've been, looking at and watching and, are extremely supportive of all of the things that you're doing. I myself am heavily dived into the financial literacy world. So, definitely look up to a lot of the amazing things you're doing. So I do want to give a little quick, brief introduction for those of you who don't know who Michael McDonald is. So he's an accomplished entrepreneur, brand architect, and marketing expert hailing from New York. And despite facing adversity while growing up in public housing, Michael discovered his passion for computers at the age of 14, which led him to create local flyers and eventually delve into web development. Michael's entrepreneurial spirit and desire to expand his skill set eventually led him to explore photography and carve out a niche in the nightclub scene. Okay, that's what's up.
And the rest was history.
Right. And in his 30s, Michael's mindset shifted to a more long-term interest, which is one of the major reasons why we're sitting with him today, as he began taking equity in companies. Eventually, this dedication led him to co-create the highly successful financial media powerhouse, Earn Your Leisure, along with associated ventures such as InvestFest and EYL University. All right. Yes. So I just wanted to make sure that, I share all of those amazing things that Michael has, done. And, before we dive in. But definitely, we're all about storytelling like we shared with you here. So we do want to know where your journey started, growing up in public housing. How did you first discover your passion for tech and computers and web development?
Well, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. You got a great studio back there. It looks really nice.
Thank you.
So about me, I've been in media for a really long time, but it started when I was 14 years old is when I really I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be on a computer. I just didn't know what did it look like, right? How was I gonna monetize off of this computer? So that's when you notice in my bio, it started with flyers. That was the first time I monetized the computer. I took a software called Adobe Photoshop and was able to make digital flyers, which were then printed out back then. See, that's before. Now no one prints flyers, but back in the day, they used to print out flyers and pass them out, put them on cars and things like that. So I was able to monetize that. But again, I was vertically scaling, right? At that time, but I didn't even know what that was back then because I was taking the people I was doing business with. They needed flyers, but they also needed a website. So they started to grow my business and learn web development. So now these people, the same people that I was doing these flyers for, now I was making websites for them, right? So now people could go see the parties, the events, pictures and things like that. But I'm like, let me pick up a camera. I started picking up a camera. I got a client base, right? And I started to just give them everything that they needed in their business, like giving them a full service for their production company. So it ended up starting at flyers, then websites, then photography, then videography, marketing, all these different things, right? So, and that's really how I started to understand that I was a digital media, right? And I trademarked the name Digital Mogul because I literally was like the guy when you came in my neighborhood. I was that guy, and I grew up in Greenburgh, New York. That's y'all from the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like 15 minutes away. Some people will say we up north, but no, we're like 15 minutes away. So have you guys ever been to Greenberg, White Plains?
Possibly not too often, but maybe like once or twice.
Probably, yeah.
You
Yeah.
never been to the Galleria?
Yes,
Yeah.
plenty of time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A
Y'all
couple
stop it.
times. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where I'm from. I'm from that area. So that whole area I had on lock, and we have 1 million people in White Plains. So you can at one point I had 100 people paying me $100 a month, right?
Hmm.
Over I had like 130 people, and that was my goal at the time to make $10,000 a month. I was like, I got to get 100 people paying me $100 a month, and I was able to do it. Within like a year, I did it with the web development service because I was dealing with all the promoters. Every flyer that you've seen, I've probably taken pictures of you guys before because I was
Right.
in the nightlife.
That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, listen,
I
yes.
I definitely probably took pictures of you before. So because I was in the nightlife for like 10 years, like 6 years strong, off and on for like those last 4 years. But that right there enabled me to meet the people in the city. So now I took all this stuff I was doing in my neighborhood and I started adding it to the people in the city. Now that just gave me a whole nother playing field. And it built relationships and whatnot and things like that. And those relationships I still have because when we started Earn Your Leisure, I started to tap into those relationships, right? Because I knew all the celebrities and the celebrities knew me because I was taking all their pictures. So if we needed to book an artist, if we needed to get a venue, if we needed a promotion, if we needed this, needed that, anything to do with the relationships I had, I always tapped into that relationship. So it helped out. Like one of the first places we used was a relationship I had from a nightclub. So and that's what it was, and that's how it led to like building Earn Your Leisure so successfully. It was one on relationships.
Nice. That's
Right.
so awesome. So you done seen some stuff, huh?
Oh
In the
man,
city, taking photos. Absolutely. I mean, you know what I love though, that you right away thought, all right, let me do the math on this. I need 100 people to make X amount of money that I want to make a month.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of times when people go into business, they don't approach things that way, right? You need to have like a set goal to be able to understand that you want to meet this specific monetary goal so that, you can take care of whatever expenses you need to take care of in your business, and things like that and still make a profit. So I like the fact that you thought about that right away. And you was like, all right, I know this is my number. This is my target that I have to hit. So I think that that's definitely a gem, that you shared with us. Yeah. So,
definitely.
being that you mentioned, go ahead. You want to jump in?
No, I mean definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
people think about hourly wages,
Right.
and it never really dawned on me that to think about hourly. I always thought about how much can I make a month, how many people it takes to
Hmm.
make that in a month. I thought different, like because you know I don't even like selling my time. I always thought like I want to do something one time and continue to get paid over and over for it.
Right.
And that's why EYO University. That was one of my first
Mhm.
creations was EYO University.
Yeah.
Something you do one time and you continue to get paid over and over for it.
Exactly. And listen, it's such an amazing project and just company that you guys have built. So let's talk a little bit about it. What was the inspiration behind co-creating Earn Your Leisure, and how did you envision its impact on financial literacy?
So Earn Your Leisure's birth came from me and Rashad having a conversation where he looked at the space and he's like, yo, I want to be a celebrity. I want to be a celebrity financial advisor. I said, all right, cool, let's do it. So I started working with him to build his personal brand. Building his personal brand took about 2 years, right? At 2 years, we got to we went from 300 followers to about 40 something thousand followers, right? Now, you would say that's a long time, right? But this is a space where was never tapped. It was a whole new space. It was a black dude wearing sweatshirts, wearing hoodies. Yeah, he would post suits and stuff, but he was talking about financial literacy. Not really too it's hitting a space where people are just like, should I listen? Should I listen? Should I listen? Da, da, da. And you're taking information that's relative that like the vitamin deal with 50 Cent. That's stuff that we've heard about. Now, when he pulls back the layers and breaks down that deal and makes you understand like this is possible, oh, I want more. And that's exactly what happened. That's the birth of Earn Your Leisure, where the people wanted more information. They didn't want just these 1 minute, these 30-second clips. They wanted more information. They're like, why don't you have a podcast? And that's when he came to me and said, yo, what is a podcast? And I explained to him what the podcast was. And I said, yo, let's do it. Let's just do it. You know, let's keep giving people information. We didn't think about how much money could we make, because me personally, I didn't even know the financial gains from a podcast, right? At that time, Sirius Radio gave Howard Stern like millions and millions of dollars, but it wasn't a podcast, but it really was a podcast. You know, it was satellite radio, but technically that's a podcast. So I didn't really understand like the money aspect of it, but I said, listen, we'll build it. I'll build it out. I'll set it all up. And as we go, we'll figure it out. If it's worth it, it's worth it. If it's not, it's not. It's good. Let's try it. And that's what we did. We started trying it, and it took off like wildfire because, again, we listened to the people. The people told us what they wanted, and we gave them. We catered to the people. A lot of times we're in business and we start catering to ourselves. We're doing what we want to do and not doing what the people want us to do. We listened to what the people wanted us to do, and it became so successful so fast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you guys have literally one of the fastest trajectories that I've seen in a long time. So, you know, kudos to everything you guys are doing with EYL, like absolutely. And, you know, one thing you touched on was the branding. So it did have a lot to do with the branding. So talk to us a little bit about like, what are your pointers branding wise? Because I feel like that's what, you know, a lot of us who are entrepreneurs, who are pushing out our business, who are podcasters, you know, whatever industry we're in, that's something that we do struggle with, especially now, you know, with social media and everything. What are some pointers that you would give?
The thing is, everybody wants, so now financial literacy podcasts are big, right? Right. Everybody's doing it, right? When we started it, nobody was doing it, right? So, and the way we did it was so unethical, right? Because you look at it, when I started his brand, I looked at all the top 5 financial advisors, and all of them were talking. They're all in suits, and they all had boring information, right? So,
right.
I mean, it was boring. It didn't relate to us.
Right.
So what do we do?
Black and white corporate.
We put 2 black dudes with hoodies on and talking about financial literacy. Boom. That's a shocker. We were unique. We were different. We separated ourselves, right? So that's one pointer. See what everyone else is doing and do something different. If you don't do something different, you won't stand out. When you see me now, right? I want to brand myself. Every time you see me with Troy and Rashad, you're going to see me with a suit on, right? Whether they are dressed down or not, you're going to see me with a suit on clothes. What does that do? That makes me stick out. If I want to be seen, I'm going to put a suit on. If I don't want to be seen, I'll blend it and be in regular clothes. But if I want to brand myself, you got to be intentional. Stick out. Do something that no one else is doing. If I'm in a club with a suit on where nobody else has a suit on, that's cool. 1, I'm tall. I'm 6'6". But 2 is when I walk in at 6'6" with a suit on, I got the attention, right? So you got to be different. That's the number one thing. The second thing is product. Focus on your product. Too many times we want to get the business, but we don't have the right product. And unfortunately, when you get the business and you don't have the wrong product, then those people are pushed away. They're discouraged and they don't use your product. They don't use your service. They get away from you. So I would say focus on a product. Whether or not we were shooting on iPhones or we had poor mics or anything else, we had great information. The product was the information. And that's where we struck gold with, was the product. The information that was easily digestible, that was given to the audience that they can execute on, and they understood it, and it made us grow exponentially.
Yeah, I got it.
Good over there. Good over there.
Yes. No, we are good. We are good. No, those are some good gems. Especially
I hope I'm not making you fall asleep.
No, not at all. No, we're listening. Trust me. We are out here, you know, on the grind ourselves with our small businesses, you know, and I don't even want to call it small business, with our businesses that we're putting out there.
That was the third thing. That was my third thing, mindset. If you say you're a small business to yourself, you're going to believe you're a small business.
Exactly.
And then you're going to say you're a small business to somebody else like you just did. Right. You just told the world. I hope you take that part out, because you just told the whole world you're a small business. Right?
No, that's a fact.
And people are going to look at you as a small business. You know, my slogan is the #1 man in business, right? Now I got people saying in my comments, the number one man in business. I'm gonna have the
Mm-hmm.
whole world saying the number one man in business. So when you think business, you're gonna think Michael J. McDonald.
Right.
So
No,
you
that's a
have to you
fact.
have to keep you have to have your mindset because words are powerful and depending on what you say is gonna depend on how people treat you.
That is so true. That is so true. And thank you for that. Those were like amazing gems. And definitely being unique and standing out. I think that, that's also a great takeaway. We need to stop thinking that we need to blend in
Right.
and we need to appreciate our unique selves and our unique, fashion, even us, like something that we make sure that we focus on with our podcast is bringing our personality through our fashion, aside from the communication, skills that we have. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. So how has working with platforms like Market Mondays and the EYL network expanded your reach in the financial and entrepreneurial space?
Well, Market Mondays was a brand. It was an idea I believe Ian Dunlap came up with. My man Ian,
Okay.
shout out to Ian,
Mm-hmm.
and he came up with this idea of creating a show geared on financial literacy, a live show where people can call in, ask questions, and they will answer them. They can get stock information. They could get taught how to do stocks 101, all these different things. Man, when I tell you if timing was the key to success, that was definitely the best timing. Granted, Ian is a very intelligent guy. He's so smart. He understands the market like no other.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he calls himself the master investor.
Right.
But I will say timing definitely helped us, right? So we started Market Mondays, and Market Mondays just like boom. I mean, boom. And now the market was up because I think we started in March of 2020, and that's when like COVID happened. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody was home. So now everybody had a stock show because the market
Yep.
went down so bad
Yep.
that all it could do is go up. So everybody thought they were these financial experts because I literally made a substantial amount of money in the market around that time, right? Because you couldn't miss. No one could miss. If you missed in that market, then I'm sorry for you.
You know what you were
But
doing.
but the,
Right.
but the thing was, everybody was talking like they were financial experts. And now all these people are talking, talking, talking. Then the market goes back down. So now what happens? All these people are disappearing because you're telling these people on your platform to go into this investment, go in this investment, go in this investment. What you think happens when that investment doesn't turn out to be what it's supposed to be?
Right. They're not going
Those
to trust in
people are
your
going at
advice.
you. Those people are coming at you. So
Right.
now but you know what Market Mondays did? It stayed consistent. It stayed there. It stayed
Mhm.
it stayed delivering information. And now we're on like show 200 and something, where all these other shows have disappeared.
Right. Right. That's incredible. No,
So
yeah. The platform, no,
and
that this
EYL
platform
Network,
that you guys have built is really incredible and informative. I definitely keep up. Yeah, absolutely. And you
yeah,
know what? You
EYL Network.
mentioned, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say you mentioned the pandemic and that was like the pinnacle time to actually, do what you guys did because I myself was sitting in a lot of stock classes and learning
Mhm.
stock and that's when I learned a little bit more about stock and investing and I felt more comfortable and brave to invest in the stock market. So it was definitely like a pinnacle time. Yeah.
And that's why I really wish that I started my personal brand at that time. That was the best time to start a personal brand. The best time to start a personal brand.
It's so true. It's so true. So, okay. So let's see. Let's talk about let's talk to our entrepreneurs, right? Our entrepreneurs that watch our podcast. Give them some tips on, we talked a little bit about personal branding, how to be a business professional, how to put yourself out there. Let's talk about how to figure out like your niche, right? Because I think that's also something that a lot of business owners struggle with. Like who is their niche? Who is their target market?
So let me
And how
ask you a
to
personal
target the
question, right?
market.
Yeah.
This is a personal question to both of you guys. What do your friends know you as? Like, what are you the best at? What are you good at?
Dressing.
That's one. What about you?
She's a stylist. I'm a business coach.
People know you as the business coach
Yes.
before you became a business coach? Did people think that you would be a great business coach?
I think so, yes. So I was doing a lot of when I first started my organization, I was doing event activations where I would bring in business owners who would either showcase, their fashion brands or talk about coaching and mentorship and things like that. So those are the type of events I was putting together in a large scale in Manhattan, in New York City. So when I was doing that at that time, that was the first time I took my leap of faith and left my 9 to 5. So I was,
Go
just betting
ahead.
on my entrepreneurship world. So yes, a lot of people were approaching me and asking me about, how did I take that leap of faith? What did I do? Did I save money? Where was my funding coming from and things like that. So that is what actually pushed me and prompted me to then start my business coaching and entrepreneurship coaching business. Yeah.
So, and it's like second nature to you. It's natural to you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because
So,
I had to learn a lot on my own. So there was a lot of trial and error. And because of that trial and error, that's what made me feel comfortable and become sort of like an expert and give that advice because I had to, learn so much on my own. Yeah.
so with that being said, I would say for an entrepreneur that's starting out, trying to find their niche, look at what these big companies do. So what these big companies do, right? They survey. You ever was on a phone and they say, press 1 to take a survey, to press 2 to say no?
Yes.
They
Yes.
survey their audience, right? Because they're trying to see where they need to get better at, what they need to do, what market they should be touching. The same thing that these big companies do, just re-engineer it for yourself. Survey your friends, survey the people around you, ask them certain questions or things that you think, things they feel that they trust you with, things that they think you're great at, things they could see me be great at, things they enjoy me doing. Like just because it's really hard to look outside of yourself and see your greatness lots of times because we don't know what we don't know, right? I don't know if I sound good, right? Because in my mind, when I hear myself, I sound bad. So you don't know what you don't know. But when you survey your friends and really ask your friends for honest opinions, it really allows you to get some data on yourself to see what people are going to like to see from you. Because if you have 10 friends and 7 of them like you, they could see you and like you coaching them, like you give great advice. 70%, that's a 70%. 70% of the world's probably going to feel the same way.
Right.
So I would say if you really want to find your niche, look like we did with we use the resources in front of us to build Earn Your Leisure. Whatever resource, we didn't try to go outside of our resources. We used the people we knew to help us with the audio. We used our phones that we had in our pockets. We used the resources in front of us. Stop trying to look outside of what's in front of you. The resources are right in front of you.
That's
And that's
right.
it's finding a niche, building the business, partner. Don't be scared to partner. A lot of people are scared to partner. A lot of people are scared to give away 50% or 20% of nothing when they can make 50% of something. So that's a big thing. Partnership. Don't be scared to
Right.
partner.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's definitely something that I talk about all the time. I probably preach this to every single person in my
Yes.
family, all of my peers, that I work with. Even with here, we're at the Matrix Studios, which is the longest standing internet radio, now podcasting, TV production company that's been around for like 20 plus years. So
Wow.
they've seen the evolution. So even with them, I'm always like, what are we doing? Let's do this, let's do that. So I love that you mentioned that because partnership is super important. Like you said, you already have the resources. They're right in front of you. So use what you have, and a lot of us don't look at that. We try to look outside and try to recruit from the outside people that we don't even know when there's so much talent around us. So I'm glad that
Correct.
you shared that. Yeah, absolutely.
That was really good too. We got to
Yeah.
utilize our friends. You're right. You're right.
Yes. Yes.
That was a good one. That was the best one.
Yeah. So we don't
That
have
was the
much
best one.
time left, but I do want to ask you, I want to ask you a little bit about the tech world, right? Because that's kind of like where you started, right? Computers, tech, everything. So what do you think? I know AI is crazy booming right now. What is the future of AI and technology?
It's funny that you asked that because I just got a haircut today, right? And I watched a couple of movies with these humanoids, right? Humanoids, or however you pronounce that word, where it's a human robot. And it literally looks like a human. It feels like a human. Like I think Megan, what's her name? What's that?
Megan Fox. Yeah, I seen that. I just seen that movie.
What's that movie called? Sense or something?
Something like that. Yes.
I forgot the name of it.
So I got that in my mind, and that obviously, if you want to see the next 5 to 10 years, just look at that movie. That's literally gonna happen. So, but I'm at the barbershop. I'm like, their job's in jeopardy because a barber is really a technical. It's a technical skill.
Yeah.
Like
it's called subservience. Yeah.
Subservience. Yep. Yes. Subservience. But it's a technical skill, right? And I'm like, I can imagine those robots cut my hair. I started using on my Tesla to drive automate, right? To automate drive, doing autonomous driving.
Yeah.
And I'm eating, I'm chilling. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to drive again. Why would I touch the steering wheel if I don't have to? Because I just got an update where it works in the city. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
I don't know. That's scary.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. That's a little scary because there's also movies.
No way.
Go ahead.
There's no way in the history of mankind that I believe that a human is going to be smarter than a robot. No. Impossible. They're too precise.
Yeah.
They do make mistakes, right? But their mistakes are going to be substantially a lot less than a human mistake.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I just see
true.
Everything being like, I don't like the fact that they're gonna literally have like host as robots. I'm not really too fond of that because I don't know if they're saying they're gonna be giving robots emotions and things like that and giving them feelings and stuff, but teaching them that. And I'm not okay with that, but I definitely think it's gonna be like robots against the world.
Listen, real quick, I just want to thank everybody for watching Sip Fearlessly. We really appreciate you. Thank you for checking in. Like, share, follow, all of that good stuff. But listen, there's also other movies like the one that what's her name? Was it Julia Roberts? One of them was where the Teslas and the robot were driving themselves. The robot killed him. Huh?
It was another one where the black dude, he had sex with the robot. He named it Eve, and the robot didn't kill him. The lady killed him because the robot, like literally, he wanted to marry the robot.
Yeah, it's just so much.
Show.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But I want to go back to what you said about driving and not having to drive, because there was also this other movie that I think Julia Roberts was in, where like something was happening in the world and they were driving Teslas, but they approached an intersection where all the Teslas were running into each other and crashing.
And
At the end of the day, something like that. So, for me, like I accept, of course, evolution, evolution of technology, evolution of life. I accept it. However, the whole robotic system for me, I still have not been able to like appreciate it and embrace it, because I also sit and watch all of these programs and all of these YouTube videos and everything that's happening. And I'm like, I don't know if I can live with a robot in my house. Scary. I don't know about that, because they are smarter than us. They just don't have until we get to that point, which probably will be soon, they don't have like the emotional intelligence, but they're still smart. So it's scary. It's scary. Like robot domination, world domination. But I mean, the platforms and the resources and utilities that we have with AI are amazing. I do feel like, and I want to get your opinion on this, I do feel like some of the platforms though are taken away from humans using actual thought process and education and putting effort into, something that they're writing, something that they're teaching. I do feel like it's taken away from that though. What are your thoughts on that?
My first thought is I'm mad at your sign just disappeared. So that's my first thought.
I thought he wasn't going to catch that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
But
thank you for that.
What was the last part of that question?
No, I was just saying the AI tools, right? I feel like it's taken away from people actually using their thoughts and their brains and their knowledge, and they're just basically copy pasting everything. And you
Okay, so
just,
now,
the Adidas just made a commercial where there was no humans in it. It was all AI produced.
That's crazy.
let's think of it like this, right? I came from special education. So my grammar, my English vocabulary is not the best. It's not at the level where my techie level is, right?
Yeah.
So I can get by. I have enough education in the English space, in English vocabulary to get by, right? But now I have this tool called AI, right? So I could take my thoughts, right? I could put it in AI, and now it can articulate in a much more fashionable, understandable, and correct way
Right.
than I can. What is that? What is that if I'm using my thoughts and using it to make it sound better? It's called a tool. Look at AI as a tool. That's all it is a tool, right? It's there to, when you start to use AI for everything and not put no information in it, then now you're not going to have great content. You're not going to have a great outcome.
Right.
But when you take your ideas and you input it in AI, it literally it performs at the highest level.
Absolutely. 1,000%. I definitely don't take away from that, but I do feel like now we have many experts and professionals that aren't really that. And it's not to take away from everybody's effort into doing what they want to do, but a lot of the information we're putting out there has to come from personal experience and education as well, not just what you took from an AI tool. You know what I mean? So that's the only issue that I have with it. But I think it's absolutely a great tool. Yes. Absolutely.
I love AI. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it's more accessible. I mean, it's been around for a long time. I'm glad it's accessible, and I'm looking forward to using it more and more. I'm not scared of it. I'm not worried that it's going to take my job, because it can't take my mind. My mind is my mind. I own my mind. I own my thoughts, and I own my creativity, right? I will add to that creativity using AI.
Yeah. So you know what? Let me and we only have about 1 minute left, but you
Which
talked
1
about
minute?
we have 1 minute left. We talked about branding. So real quick, how do you feel about, because everything that you shared with us about branding was really organic and more human based, as opposed to AI. So do you feel like we can use AI for branding and it'll still keep it at an authentic level?
You can, but again, it's not going to do well. But if you use your thoughts, your creativity, you input it into AI, it's gonna give you a great experience. It's gonna give you a great
Right.
outcome. It's the
Gotcha.
same thing. It's a tool. But if you say make me a logo for a podcast on financial literacy, nah,
Right.
that's not the prompt. Make me a
No.
logo. I want it to be vibrant. I want it to be pink. I want it to be green. I want you to feel like classy. Those things, and giving a whole entire idea, creativity around it, it's gonna do it.
Yeah. So listen, I don't want us to get caught off. I want to thank